Ladies and gentlemen, you are not going to see this all, no matter what I have done, no matter how many times I have tried to attempt this, you are not going to see this giant package in the whole entire video. I am sorry, it is just too big. And to start off this brand new toy review, which there really is no introduction this time because I've really wasted your guys' time for the past few weeks. So let's just say toy reviews are back a little early. I don't really have to explain except for the fact that I have lost a few subscribers because I haven't done any in a long time. So, yeah, we'll just get to the review. So, yeah, it's Kamen Rider Ryuki with his Dragreder from the S.H.Figuarts line, which came out sometime last year. Took me a while to get it, but I'm glad I'm finally getting to the Kamen Rider Ryuki / Kamen Rider Dragon Knight S.H.Figuarts figures. Wow, that is a lot to say. And for a quick size comparisons with the packaging, Gokai Red's box with Ryuki, which obviously Ryuki extends out pretty far because it comes with his Advent Beast and a bunch of accessories. Gokai Red, on the other hand, you know, it's just a figure with a couple of accessories, no beasts or anything like that, no Zord. So, yeah, we'll talk about this another day. So, yeah, I mean, this thing is massive. It is a monster. And, I mean, it's just popping with Ryuki everywhere. Ryuki here, Ryuki there, Ryuki on the other sides. And, see, I really cannot get this all on the camera. I am terribly sorry. I have tried countless times, and it's just not working. So, just look at what you can. This is pretty much everything on the packaging, except for the corners, so, yeah. I mean, I tried. So, it's showing off his final vent, Advent, Beast. Why does it just say Advent? I have no idea. Guard vent, sword vent, strike vent over here where my finger is, strike vent, and his Dragon Rider kick, which is the final vent. What the, I mean, that's the pose before he does the Rider kick, so what the hell? Never mind. It's not important. What is important is you guys need to know that this is not Final Vento, this is not Guard Vento, or anything they say in Japanese. This is actually the American, the dubbed Kamen Rider Dragon Knight words. Final Vent, Guard Vent, Sword Vent, Strike Vent, all that vent. It's all there. And for some reason, the Bandai Japan and Tamashii Nations wanted to add it to the box, so I don't know, don't ask me, and don't bash me if I'm incorrect on this, but I believe they might have a little Dragon Knight love here, a little bit. So yeah, so that's pretty much the package, and here's the size comparisons. I've already got that all set up since this is going to be a pretty long toy review. As you can see, we have Lion-O from the Bandai of America's 6-inch Thundercats line. We have Samurai Sentai Shinken Red of the other S.H.Figuarts line, which is pretty much the same. And we've got Figma Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. You will notice that he is a lot shorter than this one, but not by much. I mean, he's not 6 inches. They're 6 inches, but Figma is 5.5 inches maybe. I mean, you can tell there's just a little difference, just a little bit. So, yeah. But here's the real key factor on this. Obviously, Bandai of Japan and Tamashii Nations do not want these two to get involved. While it would be a nice Worlds Collide thing that probably would happen with a certain Power Ranger series, which I won't go into unless, of course, they actually dub it into American. Yeah, this really doesn't work too well. Because, obviously, these figures have better joints than the Masked Rider figures that the S.H.Figuarts line actually made. Now, I'm not so sure if it's just Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, sorry, a Kamen Rider Ryuki that actually has these kind of joints, which are by far ridiculous, is the word I'm trying to go with here, but you will understand soon. I don't know. Please don't jump me for this. Please don't leave me any bad comments. And, You know, I tried, people. I tried. I really am not that much of an expert when it comes to S.H.Figuarts figures, okay? I only have a certain amount. I've got all of Samurai Sentai Shinkenger, except for one, which should be coming out soon. But I won't say his name, because I don't want to shout it. Anyway, yeah, like I was saying, this size really does not work. What is 6 inches here is more like 5 inches now. This is supposed to be a 6-inch figure? And what is this, 7 inches? So, how did they get this so wrong? I mean, wow. But we've gone 5 minutes into this video talking about this, so size comparison is over. Let's go ahead and look at all these glorious accessories which you will lose if you are not careful. Because they are very small, I kid you not. Even though they are cool looking, they are a pain to find. Trust me, I've already gone through that problem. It comes with a lot, especially for how much he's actually worth. So we're going to set him aside and save him for last. Let's go ahead and take a look at most of this stuff right here. I mean, good God. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Tamashii Nation base. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. It's rare you will actually see these come with any S.H.Figuarts figures. You would have to order these separately. But lucky for us, since this Advent Beast really does need something to stand on, because it doesn't stand, period, Tamashii Nations and Bandai Japan actually added a stand with this one and Kamen Rider Knight, which I will be getting in a few weeks or so. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys about these stands. While they are pretty cool to display your figures on, getting them in certain poses without these pieces coming off like so is a hassle. And I am not going any more into detail about that. Let's just say, while it's good on some parts, it's a piece of shit on some other parts, because it just doesn't stay put unless you get the figure on there all the way and don't bother with it, period. Don't adjust it, don't do anything like that, because it really is a fucking piece of shit. While it is a nice accessory to have to keep this staying in the air, it just doesn't really work for me. Some of these are too tight that when you move them, they actually come right off. And it's just, I'm not talking about it. Get it out of here. That is one accessory, while it is nice to have for Dragreder, it really does not work. It just doesn't. Another accessory that Master Rider Ryuki comes with is the head for Strike Vent, which is, yeah, it's just Dragreder's head remolded again in a smaller version. Why? Because if you look very carefully at these two, notice the size difference. Now, obviously, this would not work with the action figure himself. But this size, that's why they actually did a remold, a brand new head sculpt for just popping this onto his arm and using it for his strike vent. And it does have some articulation. It does open and it does close and it does move around. It's on a ball joint. So, yeah, there you go. Really don't have to talk about anything else, except let me just tell you for the record, don't mess with these because they are very, very brittle. So yeah, I'm not going to go ahead and pop any of the accessories on the figure because I will tell you right now, it would take too much time, and I am not trying to waste your time. So, the other accessories he comes with is his sword, which does pop into the, I guess you could say, the ass of the Dragreder to create the final look of the whole entire freaking thing. Now, obviously, this thing is extremely huge compared to the previous one that I used to own that was the black version for, dare I say, Kamen Rider Onyx, Ryuga. I think it's Ryuga. But Zeltrax Millennium owns that one because he won them in a contest. But this is extremely long, and it's not all on camera. I can already tell. Well, actually, it kind of is, but, you know, it's long. It is huge. It is massive. And it's got ball joints armed to the freaking teeth of this thing. So I'll go ahead and take Ryuki out of the picture again. And we're going to go ahead and look at all these movable joints. I mean, it's everywhere. just like the previous version from the S.H.Figuarts, I think they were called. But yeah, this is definitely by far superior because it is a metallic painted red with no stickers. Unlike the previous one, no stickers. This is all molded on and painted. It is a complete painted figure with no stickers. And that is freaking cool. But, you know, I mean, it is a metallic paint that could chip away if you are not careful. I've already got a few spots on this thing that's already showing some flesh. You know, pretty much the prime color underneath this. I call it the flesh. But it's got ball joints everywhere. Like I said, it is everywhere on this thing. Ball joints even with the feet or the legs to this thing. It's just everywhere. You can actually do things that you couldn't do with the previous version. I mean, you couldn't go side to side like this. You could probably go up and down with the original Advent Beast. And it's got wrist rotation. It's got... the wrist can fold in and out. I mean, it's everywhere, especially on this, which is pretty much just the same thing. You know, it's just the same shield in, you know, Ryuki's combat mode, whatever you want to call it. Guard vent. Yeah. So, while it is nice, it is taking up a lot of time on this thing, but I'll just go ahead and show you that it does have a ball joint as well at the top of its head. And it's got like a pivot right here. No, wait, it is a ball joint. Oh, that's freaking cool. And of course the mouth opens up, so stop. And these are actually a little more, they're not as brittle as the smaller version, because obviously the larger pieces actually have the better quality. But, I mean, there is one problem with this thing. I mean, the shield, while it is nice that it does come apart and it works with the figure, just like in the show, unfortunately, because of the way it's designed, these come off very easily. And believe it or not, while they do come off very easily, they do not go back on very easily. See, it's really hard. You have to really take your time on these things. And there we go. But it's just going to pop right back off because it's not on there too tight. Not unless you really take some time to work with it. But still, it is nice that all the pieces do come off and become his weapons, just like in the television series, whether it's Master Rider Ryuki or Kamen Rider Dragonite, because they are indeed one and the same. So that's pretty much it for the Advent Beast. So, now, I guess we can... Oh, wait, we're not done. There's more accessories. Yes, I fooled you guys. More accessories for Master Rider Ryuki. What is a Figuart figure without more accessories? Okay, starting off with some of these. These are used for the guard vent, like I said. Pretty much, you just pop them into those holes that I just showed off when the shield came off of the Advent Beast itself. And I'm not going to do that again, so... yeah, sorry about that. It would take too much time to just show that off. Oh, and one more thing. While this side does have the drag visor right here, it also comes with a spare plug. So if you don't want the drag visor on this figure, you can actually pop it off and you can actually replace it with the extra plug. But why would you do that? I mean, really, did he ever do that in the show? I don't think so. I don't think he ever did. Though that is how the figure is packaged before you pull him out of the box and replace it. It does have the plug on before the drag visor. Oh, and speaking of which, since this is an accessory, while I pop this back in, which it does come out pretty easily, I mean, it is very, very loose. These plugs are not the best. They really aren't. They come off each and every place. The drag visor, very nicely detailed. Just like the Figma one, except for one thing. The Figma one could not do this. Slide it down, insert a card. But which card? Well, let's put it this way. I'll go ahead and show them to you. Yes, that's right, it comes with cards. Unlike the Figma, which only came with one card, this one comes with 5 cards. And they're going to be pretty hard to see. This is not going to work. I don't care what you do. This camera is not going to focus on this small thing. It just ain't. It's not going to work. I do believe this is sword vent. I'm sorry if you can't see this. It is that small. It is very small and very thin. And if this falls on the carpet, it's gone. I'll never find it if it falls off the stand and onto the carpet. This is Final Vent, even though it's upside down. Final Vent, and you are not going to see this. Let's see, what do we got here? What do we got here? No, wait, this is Sword Vent. This one right here is Sword Vent. So what was the other one? Was that one Guard Vent? So, yay. And let's see, what do we got here? This one obviously must be Strike Vent because it's got his Advent Beast on it. And I'm sorry if these are upside down, but they are too small and I really cannot see these on the camera myself. No, actually this one right here is Strike Vent. I don't know what that other one was. That must have been Guard Vent. I don't know. I don't know, people. I'm just showing off the cards even though this is a massive failure. Because it's not coming up on the camera. They're just too small. Now, don't blame my camera because it zoom ins focusly on anything that actually gets its attention. But really, the cards are too small and it can't focus on anything that small. But it will focus on his final accessories, thank God. All his additional hands. Really, what is an S.H.Figuarts figure without the additional hands? And we're going to go ahead and show off a couple, or pretty much all of them. This is an open hand. So, yeah, you know, they're simple pop-on and pop-off things, so I don't have to really show that off. Here's a wider open hand for, I guess, maybe that Final Vent standing pose. So, yeah. Yeah, my camera really wants to focus on something else. Oh, it's because you're in the picture, isn't it? Yeah, that works better. Right here we have what is originally packaged with the figure, the closed hand. We'll get to the other one in just a second. This isn't it. This one is the one that actually holds the cards. Let's see. Here's another one that's just an open hand. Not all the way, but, you know, it's just an open hand. This is the one that's open all the way, you know, a wide stance. That's pretty cool. That's the left hand. This is just a hand where you can use for the weapons, even though getting the sword into this hand is quite a hassle because it really is tight and it's hard to open. Let's see, this is pretty much the same one except it's the right hand. Same problem over here, even though it is a little more easier to open, see? So yeah. And then we've got this again. For some reason, I have two of the left hand of open hands, which, yeah, I don't understand. And then last but not least, we've got the original packaged left fist hand. So yeah. And they are nicely detailed. And now we can finally talk about the action figure himself, Masked Rider Ryuki or Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. Like I said, with his Advent Beast, or not his Advent Beast, but his Drag Visor. Sorry, Drag Visor can open up, unlike the Figma one. You can insert a card, but I'm not going to do that on camera because I will never get that sucker out. I promise you, I don't have anything small enough to try and pull it out this time without scratching it up with my fingernails. So, I'm sorry if that disappoints some of you people. But I will show you this. His Advent belt, which is nicely detailed. The Advent deck itself is actually removable, as it was shown on the final images of the figure before it was finally produced. It is nicely detailed. And so is the belt itself without the deck, as you can see. And, you know, like in the show, Henshin, or Kamen Rider. Except it doesn't rotate. That would have been cool if it did, but, you know, it's too small. I don't see how they could add that gimmick, though it would have been nice. The head sculpt, unlike the Figma one, I have to admit, this one is by far superior. Even though this one is a more better suit accuracy, this one wins on the head sculpt, which is nice. And even though you guys really cannot see it, the eyes are actually transparent. The bug eyes are actually transparent. Unlike this one where it's all just one molded piece of solid paint. This one right here is actually transparent or translucent because it just gives off a better effect as if there are eyes peeking right through these things. That's pretty cool. And the same thing goes with Kamen Rider Knight, even though I don't have him at the moment. Or, you know, Masked Rider Knight. You know, Wing Knight. Let's put it that way. Wing Knight. And I do expect to do a toy review of him eventually when I get him. But for now, money is tight at the moment, people. Did I talk about these plugs? I thought I did. I said that once they pop off, they're pretty hard to get back on. And I'm not going to demonstrate it because I actually got them to stay in this time. During this review, I'm not going to show them off because it would just, it's just a pain trying to get them all back on. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I kid you not, all of these have popped off before, and they are all a pain to get back on. And last but not least, we will go through his articulation. And pretty much everything on this figure is on a ball joint, but still, I do not like the joints on these figures. They are just designed wrong, horribly. Even though they are nice and tight, they are just too fragile. I am afraid to put this figure on my top shelf because, as I demonstrated with Figma Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, he was on my top shelf and he fell not too long ago, and he's still in one piece. Unlike an S.H.Figuarts figure, which I have read some posters off of Ranger Board, once they fall off a big, high area, you might as well consider them gone because they're going to snap, they're going to break. It would be a miracle or just plain old luck if they don't break on the first impact of a high fall, okay? I'm not going to demonstrate because obviously this figure costs us a lot. Okay, just a fair warning to those people. While this is a nice figure, I still have to give props to Figma and their figures because they are more durable, I guess you could say. Durable. Yeah, durable. 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 He ain't breaking. This, on the other hand, if I was to slam him, he probably would shatter eventually. A lot faster than the Figma one would. So, yeah. Okay, now we can go through the last bit of this review, the articulation. So pretty much, like I said, everything's on a ball joint. The head is on a ball joint. The neck is on a ball joint. It rotates and all that, so that's nice. I mean, very nice humanoid quality, as it was announced on the package itself. Shoulders, ball joint, and they got some new joint right here where you can actually, like, look at that. Look at that. Ooh, swivel. That's pretty cool. I like that. So you can get the arms in a lot closer and get very close to actually getting this figure to crossing his arms, but still, it's not perfected yet. It would have been nice if it was, but it's just, it's not. And, yeah, I really don't like these plug-in places on this figure. It just does not work. It is a pain. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for that. My camera gave out in a certain time limit, so I guess you could say this is a second parter now. So, we're going to finish this off as quick as possible. Like I said, this is on some weird ball joint, but it works. I mean, full 360, nice rotation, in and out, all that kind of stuff. Though you do have to lower it in order to get the arm to go out all the way as best as it can. I mean, you can get it far, but I wouldn't risk it. And this, of course, keeps falling off, so I'm just going to go ahead and take it off. Oh, did I show this off? The gauntlet itself can actually fold in and out. That's kind of cool. Nice way to store it away. Bicep rotation. Nice. Single jointed elbows, though they work like they're double jointed, which is pretty freaking cool. There's a wrist rotation as well. That's pretty cool. Ball jointed arms, or not arms, hands, sorry. Ball jointed hands. You can get them in a lot of positions. Very awesome. Let's see. There's a waist cut, or, you know, a ball joint on the waist. There's also some articulation to the upper stomach, which is nice. Now, this is where this is a minor complaint, though a lot of people have spoken upon this. When it comes to the Masked Rider figures compared to the S.H.Figuarts versions of their Sentai figures, there is a difference in the leg joints. While the S.H.Figuarts figures do have this very nice slide them down and be able to get them in a more higher kick position, the same cannot be said with the Kamen Rider Ryuki figure here. As you can see, it is just one ball joint without any additional points of articulation. It does not slide down, and it does not go up too far. That is about as far as it goes, but ladies and gentlemen, that is not 90 degrees. It is not. It's close, but it's not. That's kind of a shame, but at least it's not that far hindered when it comes to getting it to go up, getting it to go back about that far. And it does go in and out, as I did demonstrate. It also rotates at the thigh. Double jointed knees, that's nice. And last but not least, there is a, well, no, actually there's two parts. Okay, part one, the feet or the ankles do have articulation. They do the side and side thing. They actually pivot up and down, so they're pretty much on a ball joint if you want to consider it that. And last but not least, the feet, they do pivot up and down. Even though there is another difference. While this is plastic right here for the feet, this is actually die cast. And I hate die cast because once it scratches, it just ruins the figure's look. Because obviously, like I've been saying over the years, metal and paint do not make a great combination, okay? So, obviously, this is just a collector's figure. You really cannot play with this, even though it says action figure on the package. It's not an action figure. It's more of a collectible piece that you can display and nothing more. Unless you want to risk breaking it, that's totally up to you. But, yeah. This has been quite a long review, but I think I've got everything out of the way finally. So now I guess we can get to the final grade of this whole entire set, which is all over the place. It really is. I mean it. Look, see? All over the place. Let's talk about Kamen Rider Ryuki. Final grade on this figure, I am really, even though it does have its flaws that I've already talked about and its collector reasons, I am going to give this actually a really good grade. This figure is a pass. I say you can actually get him. Yeah, he's a pass. He's not a fail, he's a pass. It's nicely detailed all over the place, all the way. He is armed to the teeth with accessories that even though they really don't stay in place like the drag visor, they still are a nice additional piece to have with this figure. He is actually complete with everything he had in the show except for his, what was that other armor he had? It would have been nice if he came with that, but you know what? I can understand. It's a Figuarts figure. They're not going to add another armor set to this figure. But still, that would have been pretty cool though. But, yeah, you might want to consider that in the future, Bandai Japan and Tamashii Nation. So let's get the second mode for Dragon Knight or Ryuki and Wing Knight. So that would have been nice. Still, that's just a little inspiration, I guess you could say. This figure is great. He really is. Loads of articulation. Great for posability. The display stand, no offense, is a nice addition piece to the figure itself. But really, it's a piece of shit. I'm not kidding you guys. The stand is a hassle. I hate the thing because once you're trying to pose Dragreder, if you don't have it set properly, it just pops right off. The legs on the stand are just done wrong. I don't like it. I could do without that piece. I would just have this thing standing on its legs when I display it. But I will show this one picture so you can see how close I actually got to getting it in at least one good pose during a green screen effecting. So, overall, I actually like this figure. And I like Dragreder, and I actually like all the other accessories except for the stand. But, cost-wise, if you cannot afford this, can I really say, should you go with the Figma figure instead? Actually, while the lacking of accessories on this one is a problem, I think you can actually let it slide. Yeah, why not? Let it slide. You can actually get this one instead of this one, but really, if you want all the accessories instead of just the accurate suit design, then yeah, sure, why not? Go with this one if you can actually afford it, which right now he is a little cheaper than when I purchased him online, but sooner or later he's going to be really high in demand and the price is just going to go skyrocketing like a certain toy that I'm trying to obtain at the moment that I won't go into detail about. But other than that, yes, this figure is truly worth it. They're actually both worth it. If you can actually get a hold of both, then more the power to you, because they are just awesome figures to own. Especially if you are a Masked Rider Ryuki or a Kamen Rider Dragonite fan. Like I said, they are one in the same. Except one's lacking on, you know, accessories. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I got nothing else to say. The figure is well worth it. If you can buy him now, go ahead. Don't wait. So, any questions or comments, leave them below, guys. I will answer them when I have time. Even though I'm quite busy right now, but, you know, I will answer your questions when I have the opportunity. That's it, guys. That is the end review for S.H.Figuarts Masked Rider Ryuki / Kamen Rider Dragonite with the Dragreder or the Advent Beast, whichever one you want to call him. Still, I don't know what it was called in Dragonite, but maybe it was the same name. I don't know. But that's it, guys. The review is over. I'm sorry if this was long, but you know what? You guys wanted me to return to more toy reviews, and, well, you get what you pay for, right? Or, you know, you ask and you shall receive. That's the best way I can say it, even though I'm saying that in a sarcastic way. I mean, this is a long review, but you guys wanted it. Well, there you go. So, yeah, that's it, guys. I'm out of here. This is Red is Power signing out, and until the next toy review, which I don't know what it is, I will see you guys next time. Whew, I need a drink.